Okay, in this video I would like to discuss why is America the way it is today, particularly in its spiritual condition. We can see revival going on in many parts of the country, many nations, Central and South America. They are bringing 2 to 3 million souls to Christ every year, just in Honduras and Guatemala. Asia, China alone is bringing at least 10,000 souls to Christ. But America today is kind of shaky. And I want to just explain, not just America, but all the modernized country, why is the gospel slowing down, especially in the more developed nation. So first let's examine, how does salvation come to a nation, and when it comes, what happens? And also, why does salvation always comes with prosperity? If you notice in the history, prosperity and salvation, they kind of go hand in hand. Whenever a gospel reaches a nation, prosperity always follows. So I'm going to use this graph to explain the best that I can. Salvation happens because we have an exchange of idea or belief with someone that we trust. And that trust comes from human interaction. Now, believe it or not, this is the same process that brings prosperity. Through human interaction, most of us come to Christ not because we interact with TV or media. Most of us come to Christ because we interact with someone who knows Christ. And we happen to trust them or whatever they say because of the way they are or who they are or the way they present themselves, or the relationship that you have with this person, and you start to exchange ideas or belief, and eventually leads to salvation. The same process, when there is enough human interaction that creates trust, it also creates a transaction. It creates business transactions, it creates barter, it creates exchange of idea, and eventually leads to prosperity or wealth. So in a nutshell, just human interaction and trust alone will create results like this. But what happened in America and also many other developed countries where gospel ones thrive in those nations is that we allow everything to stop here. What happened is that we're supposed to go on. The first commandment that's ever given to mankind in the Old Testament is that be fruitful, multiply, and have dominion. Now, in the Old Testament, the first commandment, we kept the first two parts pretty well, but not the later part. The first two parts, be fruitful and multiply. We multiply a lot. Look at now, there's 6 billion people on earth. But we don't have dominion very well. If you look online and go search for 7 Mountain Theory or Invading 7 Mountain by Lanswell now, you find out that America, out of these group of people who have salvation, we have no one as a leadership in media, in business, in politics, entertainment. There's a total of 7, and we do have leadership in Religion Mountain, which is the churches. You see a lot of mega churches. But we don't have people in other society or in the art industry. We don't have people in those areas be in alignment with us. So we can win the first generation, but we always lose the next. You see, people in the church, by the time they reach the second generation, I think there's a statistic says that less than 3% of your next generation will continue to go to church when they grow up after they graduate from college. Why? Because we did not take over the educational mountain. When they go to college, the education over there kind of confuses them, tells them there's no God or whatever. It uses logic and reasoning and reason them out of God. And for example, media. At one time, media would have 80% influence, and you only have maybe about 10%. So the media, we do not have leaders over there that has a kingdom mindset or a biblical mindset. And because of that, we are losing our next generation. Now, what is supposed to happen after wealth? Now, wealth produces money. Money is not wealth, but wealth does produce money. Very often you will see prosperity and peace comes to a believer's family. So wealth doesn't just mean money. Money is part of it, but it also creates wealth in relationship. Relationship being restored with God, with marriages, with parenting. And you see the people who follow God, they will see all kinds of restoration. That's true wealth. But wealth will produce money. And what's supposed to happen is that these people that's in leadership, if they are godly, they have kingdom mindset, with their godly desire plus money equals construction. Construction that brings social transformation, positive impacts, positive policy, godly policy that's being enforced. And that's what it's supposed to create. And creates continual ripple effect to the next generation. But what happened now today is that we are so busy trying to increase the number of people to receive salvation, while other people with not so godly desire climbing up these mountains. They are taking over this mountain and create an influence back to the society. And when these group of people, plus money, they create destruction. And this happens throughout the history many, many, many times. This is not the first time that it happened. Now, when every time they created destruction, they spent $1 to create destruction, we need to spend $10 to bring construction, to bring restoration. So, as long as we are not climbing this mountain and take control and have dominion over these mountains, we will always spend a lot of money trying to restore something, trying to restore what is supposed to be right. And we will always see drug issue, we will see sex trade issue, we will see all kinds of social issue in the society, and we're trying to keep up. They spend $1 to destruct, we got to spend $10 to restore. So hopefully this graph will bring some enlightenment to the believers, to pastors. I hope that you no longer think that the purpose of being a pastor is just to build churches. No, it's to build the kingdom of God. It's supposed to equip the saints to advance the kingdom of God in this part. Help them to be the next leader in business, in politics, in education, in entertainment, in art. Don't just stay in the religion mountain and trying to think that this is the part that can change the world. No. We gotta get out of ourselves, start building God's kingdom, God's community, God's city, God's county, God's state, and eventually create a nation that belongs to God. God bless.